All right, strap in everyone, get ready, because today we're diving deep into something truly epic. Gladiator.
Yeah, Gladiator.
We're not just going to scratch the surface with names and weapons, though.
Yeah.
No way. We're going all the way in. We're talking strategies, the blood-pumping spectacle, and, what their combat actually tells us about Roman society itself.
Yeah, you know what's really interesting about gladiators? A lot of times in those Hollywood movies, right?
Yeah.
They miss out on showing just how much variety and skill was actually involved.
Right.
These weren't just like mindless brutes just hacking away at each other.
Yeah.
It was so much more than that. Each type of gladiator, they had their own distinct fighting style.
Oh, interesting.
Almost like specialized classes, like in a modern fighting game.
Oh, okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so picture this. We're walking through these, dark and echoing tunnels of the Colosseum.
Okay.
Right. And then, bam, we emerge into this blinding light of the arena.
Right.
So who are we going to see first, do you think? Who's going to be the first gladiator to, catch our eye?
You'd probably see a Murmillo,
Murmillo, okay.
Yeah, the classic heavily armored warrior,
Okay.
Like gladius in hand, huge rectangular shield held high.
Oh.
They were like the backbone of gladiatorial combat, representing, the sheer might of Rome itself.
That's so cool. It's fascinating how, their equipment, like you said, that massive shield, the gladius, the classic short sword, right?
Right.
The Roman legions, it all ties together. It's like they were purposefully designed to embody, the unyielding strength of the Roman army.
Exactly. And their tactics really reflected that,
Really?
Murmillos often fought with this slow and steady advance, using their shields, like you said, to deflect blows and basically wear down their opponent.
Oh, so it's a war of attrition.
Exactly. It was a style that really favored strength and stamina.
Oh, I see.
Qualities that were super highly prized in Roman society as a whole.
Makes sense. I can just hear the crowd roaring, this impenetrable warrior just marching forward. But, I'm guessing not every fight was this slow, drawn-out affair.
Oh, definitely not.
Right.
So if the Murmillo embodied strength, right?
Yeah.
The Thraex was all about speed and agility.
Oh, okay. So kind of the opposite end of the spectrum.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Smaller shield, curved sword called a Sika. Think of them as the nimble assassins of the arena.
Oh, the Sika, right. I remember reading about those. Didn't they have that wickedly sharp inward curving blade? Almost like a hook,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Precisely. It was designed for close quarters combat.
Oh, I see.
Perfect for getting around an opponent's defenses.
Sneaky.
Exactly. The Thraex would dance around their opponents, wait for an opening, and then strike with deadly precision.
It sounds like a high-risk, high-reward kind of style.
Exactly. High risk, high reward. It demanded incredible dexterity, precision.
Yeah.
It was really something to see.
I bet that got the crowd going wild.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of exciting styles,
Yeah.
wasn't there a gladiator who actually fought with a net?
Ah, you're thinking of the Ricciarius.
Ricciarius, okay.
The Netman, probably the most unique, unorthodox of all the gladiators.
That's so wild. A net, a trident, and a dagger.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine that being effective against, some of those heavily armored guys we were just talking about.
Right. But that was the genius of it.
Really?
The Ricciarius was a master of misdirection and agility. He relied on cunning rather than brute force.
Ah, so brains over brawn.
Exactly. They'd use the net to entangle their opponent.
Okay.
And then they'd go in with the trident or the dagger while they were, stuck.
Smart.
It was a spectacle unlike any other. The crowd, they loved it.
Yeah, I can imagine. You never knew what was going to happen next.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a totally unique fighting style.
Yeah.
But, it makes me think, that would require a very specific counter.
Yes. Enter the Secutor.
The Secutor, okay.
They were specifically trained to fight the Ricciarius.
Oh, really? So they were the anti-Ricciarius.
Exactly, yeah. They had smooth armor to prevent those net entanglements.
Class.
And they had a rounded helmet to minimize the target area.
Okay, so less for the net to catch on.
Exactly.
Interesting. So if the Ricciarius is all about keeping their distance, the Secutor was built to close the gap and flip the script.
Exactly. Think of it like this cat and mouse chase around the arena.
Okay, yeah.
The Secutor had to be relentless. They had to anticipate the Ricciarius's moves and use their own agility to avoid getting trapped.
So far we've been talking about, gladiator versus gladiator.
Right.
But I know there was another category.
Yes.
One that faced, like, a totally different opponent.
Yes. The bestiary.
The bestiary, okay.
The brave souls who fought wild animals.
Oh, wow.
Lions, bears, tigers.
Oh, my goodness.
Even elephants. Imagine, like, the raw courage it must have taken to step into that arena with those beasts.
It's terrifying and fascinating all at the same time.
Yeah.
Were their tactics similar to, like, the gladiators that fought each other?
It really varied. Some bestiari, they were specialists.
Okay.
Trained to fight specific animals.
Oh, interesting.
So they would study their movements, learn their weaknesses.
Yeah.
And then develop strategies accordingly. Others were more generalists, I guess you could say.
Okay, so they're more adaptable.
Exactly. They could adapt to whatever creature they came face to face with.
Wow, that takes guts.
Oh, really did.
Either way, it was like a seriously dangerous job.
Oh, yeah.
One that required, like, nerves of steel.
Nerves of steel.
Thinking back on all these different types of gladiators, man versus beast, it really strikes me how each one had their own unique role to play in the Colosseum.
It's true. And you know what? I think it's kind of like a microcosm of Roman society itself, don't you think?
How so?
Well, with its emphasis on discipline, strategy, and spectacle.
Yeah, I see that. It all connects, it all ties back together.
And maybe it leaves us with a question to ponder,
Oh, what's that?
What do our forms of entertainment today say about us?
That is a great question. One we'll have to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.
Thanks for having me.